Welcome back, CT Sports Now, coming at you from our studios at Sacred Heart University. We promised you'd be here, and it's our favorite time of the week, Monday, with Scott Erickson. Game Time CT.
That's your favorite time of the week? Awesome.
Monday with Scott Erickson. Can we put that up on the? I like that. You get that.
Trademark that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I like
good.
that because
Mondays with
it's
Scott Erickson.
baseball season, and of course you run the poll for Game Time
I
CT.
do, yeah.
And number one and all the other 9. I mean, we're getting into the meat of the season, although some of the schedules don't show that.
We're getting into the meat of the season. There's still so many teams with just 1 or 2 losses. It's really been tough to, even just for me to vote. I know you vote too.
And there are all these teams with 1 loss, and this team beat this team, but oh wait, this team beat this team, and this team beat that team. So how do you?
Just going through the CCC stuff, there's 8 teams with 1 loss in the CCC. So how do you differentiate between Glastonbury, Southington, East Hartford,
Berlin.
East Catholic, Berlin?
So if I can make, you mentioned that I vote in the poll, I'm going to make, just going to come clean with this. So when I saw that Richfield was number 6, and we'll get to the poll in a second, I'm like, wow, how did people vote Richfield all the way down to number 6?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, you voted him number 6. so I guess
I quickly went and checked, and I said, I think no one voted number 6.
Okay. So
again, there's so many good teams right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to differentiate. And then Danbury beat Ridgefield, West Hill, and Darien last week. And
it's baseball. It's not football where you're going to have half a dozen or so teams that are undefeated for most of the year.
All right, that's it. Let's look at the poll. Let's start from 6 through 10.
Yeah.
And well, hopefully I didn't mess this up. Not the best graphics, but I did my best. All right.
No, that seems to be the correct order.
Yeah. So Ridgefield at 8 and 2. That Ridgefield team has really solid pitching.
Really good pitching. They're going to be good in the postseason because of that pitching. So it's really just about getting in and having a good seed. But once you get in and you have 3 really good starters like they have, we've seen it the last few years with them, it's really dangerous. Ludlow's a totally different story. They're just scoring a ton of runs. They're winning in extra innings. I think they've had 4 walk-offs in extra innings. A lot of runs, not as much pitching. So we'll see how that holds up as the season goes on. And then we had Glastonbury and Southington in there too. Glastonbury actually beat Southington 1-0 in 13 innings.
In the marathon,
but they're 1 below them in the poll. But again, they both have 1 loss, so it's hard to see.
Southington knocked off Berlin, and Berlin's a good team.
Right, exactly. Berlin's a good team. So the bottom of that poll, some really good teams. I actually voted East Catholic in the top 10. They didn't make the top 10, but again, there's all these one-loss teams out of the CCC.
Manchester's having a good year too.
Manchester's having a great year, and I talked to coaches up there, and they can't really tell me who's better. And Wethersfield also, who was the Class L champ last year, is right back in the mix again. I think they have 1 or 2 losses also. So good luck with the CCC.
And South Windsor, a team that a lot of people liked in the CCC coming in. The problem is they just haven't played enough games.
South Windsor only is
4-1 or
3-1.
3-1.
3-1. Yeah, they just haven't played a lot of games. So you're going to see a lot. Their schedule at the end of the season is going to be 4 games, 5 games in a week. They're going to be really packed in there. But see how their pitching holds up.
That's my point. Have you noticed anything? This is the second year, I believe, of the pitch count. So has there been any problem? Last year it was a big problem early because I think of the weather and the fact that it was the first year of adjustment for them.
Yeah, everyone seems adjusted to it. I haven't heard too much complaining about it. I've seen one kid that was pulled out of a game, at the pitch count. It didn't seem like a massive deal at the time. Again, we'll see that more as the second half of the season comes on and these teams are playing makeup games and playing 4 games a week, 5 games a week, because that's when you're really digging deep into that pitching staff and pulling kids up that maybe have not even pitched an inning and all of a sudden in late May are forced into action. Sure. So that happens, and that's high school baseball in general, but with the pitch count, it really gets emphasized even more.
So a game I was really looking forward to that was to be played today, but got postponed. It's now being played tomorrow, Tuesday, is Ledyard at Waterford, and then I see. In fact, we can pop up. We already saw that Waterford moved into the top 10.
They did,
but now let's look at 1 through 5 because Ledyard is in that top 5.
And Ledyard was number 1 last week. Yeah,
right, until they played Hand.
And then Hand beat them, and again we just kept going, and we have a new number 1, the 4th number 1 in 4 weeks now. Who was actually our number 1 at the end of the season last year. It would have been easier if we just left them there.
Right, but they lost the first week.
Yes, they did. They lost
first game.
The opening game, and they haven't lost since. But yeah, and then Staples, Staples has run ruled 5 of the 8 teams that they've played this year. They're really a dominant team. They're the only team in the SCAC that hasn't lost a conference game. They haven't lost in conference. I think they're 5-0 in conference. Hand.
That's the wrong record for Hand.
That might be their league record. But But we saw them up against Ledyard. They're really, really good.
Yeah.
Phoenix Billings
and they
hit a
beat
ball.
Shelton 2-1 too, which was a good game too.
Really, really good game. Phoenix Billings hit a ball in that Ledyard game that, I don't know if you've been to Ledyard, but it hit the roof of that barn.
No, if not for that barn, it's still going there.
Yeah, I think it landed in Mystic somewhere.
Yeah, no, and listen, the kid's a good football player. He's a
great baseball
He's
player too.
going to UConn, committed as
Yeah.
a junior to go to play baseball for the Huskies.
But Ledyard's going to be really good. Look, they have Ken Turner, who might be the best pitcher in the state. He had 15 strikeouts against Knoxville. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's right. Our friend Pete got that.
Yeah, Pete Pagwaga with the great
nice
video
shot there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and you like Turner as maybe the best pitcher in the
Turner
state?
might.
I saw him the day before against Montville.
Yes, and 15 strikeouts,
Yeah.
2-hitter. I mean, his ERA. I don't think he's allowed an earned run all season. He's also batting around like 550 or 560 or something like that. He's committed to go to the University of Hartford. Awesome player. So anytime he takes the mound for Ledyard, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. And then they have a few other players that are good too. So we'll see out of the ECC what happens. Like you said, that's a great matchup with Waterford. And then Waterford the next day now has to come down and play Amity, which is a really fun ECC-SEC matchup. And we always love those.
I love the way that they've set up these schedules. So we're getting to see
some of the top
the
teams
really
from the
good
different
schools
leagues.
go against each other. And
well, the baseball teams seem to realize, look, we're going to get in. We want to play the best competition before we get there. It doesn't do us any good to go schedule a team, pick up a win that we're winning 7-0. We want to face good pitching. We want to face good hitters. We want our kids to see that before we get into the state tournament. And you're seeing all these top 10 teams from other conferences play each other, and it's awesome for us, isn't it?
We were talking about it. It is awesome for us. We were talking about some great players and the effect that they can have on a game. And you look at Staples and Chad Knight. I'm at a game the other day, and the kid throws, I think a 3-hit shutout.
Yeah.
And strikes out, I think 8 or 9.
This is the Trumbull game?
Yeah. This is what we're seeing here.
Yeah, they won
and then he
1-0.
steps up and hits the only run in the game here, a home run. You talk about having an effect in the game. He pitches them to a win, hits them to a win.
You know, we do that top performers every week, and I would love to mix in some new kids, but it's hard when I get sent Chad Knight's week that he had and the games that he had, and he just keeps ending up in there. And a lot of kids keep ending up in there. You know, Jack D'Onofrio from Simsbury and a lot of other kids, Ken Turner from Ledyard. They all seem to end up in there every week, but there's a reason for it. I mean, you see when you see in person how good Chad Knight is. It's not hype. He's going to Duke. He's legitimate.
I wonder if he's going to get drafted, or if the major league team shy away from him because he's been such a guy. From the beginning, he's like, no, I'm going to Duke. I mean, when he was a freshman, he was saying, I'm going to Duke.
Yeah. And he's been catching this year too. I haven't seen him catch yet, but when he's not pitching, he's been catching, which is a new thing for him. I think that's maybe what Duke wants him to do, but I'm not sure. We'll have to ask.
It's interesting. A study just came out today. I heard it on the radio saying if you have a kid who's a pitcher and you're going to play him at another position, do not play him at catcher.
Right.
Apparently Jack McFarland didn't see that study yet, but anyway.
There's just you can just get injured, especially with your hands and stuff on foul balls. So
And it's the throwing, the constant throwing.
And the constant throwing too. You're not resting your arm at all because even just throwing back to the pitcher, you're always going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the other kids that get the Tommy John surgery usually as catchers to go along with the pitchers.
Quickly, you mentioned East Catholic. Any other schools outside of your top 10 that you really like and can see them ending up there at the end of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, the teams that we talked about earlier, Danbury didn't quite make the top 10 this week. I still really like West Hill because they have some really good kids there. There's a few, Notre Dame, West Haven out of the SEC. The SWC doesn't seem to be getting talked about a lot. Newtown's playing really well. Notre Dame, Fairfield, Bethel's having a good season.
Well,
so many 1-loss and 2-loss teams.
All right, well, we'll save it for another time. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Scott.
All right, thanks, guys.